Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé to not share a letter my ex-wife sent to me on social media? Original post. My ex-wife, 34 female, sent an email to me, 34 male, pleading me not to marry my fiancé, 27 female. My fiancé wants to share the letter on her social media to expose my ex-wife, but I feel she should be the bigger person and ignore her. My ex-wife Lily and I started dating in college and were together for almost 10 years, married for 4. I thought we had a perfect relationship. However, around 6 years ago, Lily sat me down and told me she was feeling unhappy with our marriage and felt like she missed out on a lot of fun things in life because we got married early and spent all our efforts in our career and finances. We are both lawyers and spent a lot of time in our law school, bar exam, etc., and got really high-paying jobs. She felt that she never got to live an independent life and find herself. I was heartbroken, as I did not know a life without her. We went through a lot of stress during our marriage and could see her side. We split amicably and got a divorce soon, as we did not have any assets for kids to worry about. Everything went okay for the first few months. However, Lily started getting panic attacks and went into depression after she started living alone. I still cared about her and helped her during that time. She was also diagnosed with BPD and has been in therapy since. We stayed friends as the transition was difficult for both of us. However, I tried to move on from her by going on dates. Lily and I stayed good friends for almost a year after our divorce. She asked me a few times if we should try to work on our marriage, but I had moved on, told her we are better off as friends than as a couple. I met Mila at our running club and we really hit it off. Mila was much younger than me, but really matched my energy and we started dating seriously soon after. Mila expressed that she found it uncomfortable that Lily was still such a big part of my life. I also felt I wanted to invest all my energy in relationship with Mila, and I told Lily that I would be distancing myself from her. Lily reluctantly agreed, and we stopped texting each other daily. I'd only met on social occasions such as weddings or parties, as we both share the same group of friends. Lily and Mila never got along, but Mila tolerated Lily for me. Mila and I have been dating for 3 years, and I proposed to her during summer holidays last year when we visited her parents' house. We have been busy planning our wedding and plan to get married in September. Everything was going really well until last week. I received an email from Lily last week pleading me to not marry Mila. It was a long email talking about how we are soulmates and meant to be together. It was extremely delusional and talked about how I was just punishing her by being in a relationship with Mila, and she has learned her lesson and I should take her back now. It talked about how I would be abandoning her after I promised her that I would take care of her in sickness and in health for her entire life, and my new marriage vows will be meaningless since I promised all those things to her. I immediately told Mila about this and told her that Lily has crossed the line, and I would not only block her everywhere, but make sure I go no contact with her. Mila was very upset too, and started cursing out Lily and how she is planning to ruin her special day. Mila told me that she wants a screenshot of the email and sent it to my parents. They of course supported Mila and told her that Lily has to be cut off forever from our lives, and I agreed. Mila wants to share the email on her Instagram and Facebook so that all our friends would also see Lily's behavior, so that they all block her as well and never invite her to any events. This is where I do not agree with Mila. I know that Lily is not mentally well and has been depressed again since we announced our engagement. Lily has tried to reach out to me through my friends, but I had not given her a chance to speak to me alone. I feel bad for Lily, and I feel Mila sharing the post would only extend the drama. I also worry that my friends know about Lily's mental condition, and it would feel petty to hurt her while I am moving on and marrying an amazing person in Mila. I have told Mila about all this and she feels that I am still trying to protect Lily when she tried to hurt Mila by sending that email. I am not sure what to do at this point. Am I the a-hole to ask Mila to not share the email on social media for everyone to see Lily's private email to me? Is Mila right that Lily deserves all the hurt she would get after she makes the email public? Now for the top comments before reading the update. I'm a pretty big advocate for no contact after a breakup for this reason. I think that her reaction to being without you was delayed because she never truly understood what it was like without you in her life. You guys texted every day? Especially given her BPD diagnosis, it sounds like a dream to be able to keep you at a distance yet still close enough. Many folks with BPD have disorganized attachment styles like this. Given the circumstances, I do think you did pretty good at abiding by your fiancé's preferences when she did express discomfort, which was valid, at the proximity of Lily. But I don't think your fiancé should be posting this on her social media. How immature and mean. She can show it to whoever she wants directly, I suppose, but it sounds to me like she wants to completely ruin Lily's reputation with people who aren't close enough with her to simply text them out of the blue with the screenshots. I would be embarrassed if my partner was publicly being a mean girl. I'm gonna go with not the a-hole, but by no means is everyone innocent. Yes, Lily and I have had that conversation in the past. She feels that I should have not let her leave me because she was not in the right state of mind. However, what was I supposed to do? I just did not want to be with someone who did not want to be with me. I actually feel for you. My ex is bipolar and he demanded a divorce. But because I was the one who physically left the house, he has since rewritten it in his mind as I left him. Now that I am in a steady and healthy relationship, I have been told that I shouldn't have left. I was supposed to fight for him. But what was I supposed to do? Fight him for him? How does that work? My friend's ex-wife is bipolar. She definitely left him, but now tells everyone that he left when I was sick. You can't force people to stay in a relationship with you. Nor can you force them to see the truth when they are committed to remaining blind. Now for the update. I wanted to write a quick update on my post from last week. Thanks everyone for so many insightful comments, and it really helped me think through the issue. I had a long discussion with Mila over the weekend. I know it was hard on her too, and I am sure I would also be angry if the shoe was on the other foot. I told her I understand her frustration and asked her to tell me what is going on in her mind. She told me that it bothered her that I reacted so calmly to this situation, when I should be very angry at Lily and gone nuclear. According to her, Lily has been acting horribly towards her ever since we got engaged, and is now actively trying to break us up, and I am treating her with kid gloves because of her mental condition. She said that she feels bad for Lily, but what Lily is asking me was to destroy Mila's life and hoping to take her back. According to her, Lily has a successful career and well enough to function in every other aspect of her life except when it comes to me. So even though she has a mental illness, it cannot be as bad as everyone makes it out to be. I thought about it and told Mila that the main reason why I did not react drastically to the email was because after all these years, Lily is nothing more than a stranger to me. I have barely had a meaningful conversation with her for the last 4 years and never really wanted to learn anything about how she is doing. It's true that we once shared a bond, but I have just moved on and have no time for her drama. My mind is filled with all the happy thoughts about our wedding, and I did not want to give importance to a letter from someone who has no place in my life anymore. I again brought up the topic of Mila posting the letter on Instagram to get back at Lily. I told her why I feel it is a very bad idea, and it would just give Lily fodder to continue the drama. Mila told me that she never really intended to post the letter online, and it was originally my mother's idea as she really hates Lily for what she did to me. She said that she cannot be as patient as me and is really mad at Lily. She cannot shake the feeling that Lily might do something awful during the wedding day, and Mila is anxious about it. I told Mila that her well-being is my main concern, and we should talk about the letter to at least some of my close friends so that they can keep an eye on Lily. I called 3 of my friends, who are mutual friends with Lily, the next day, and told them about the letter and also our concerns about Lily. All of them confirmed that Lily has not been doing well recently and had many BPD episodes. She had called them for help regarding that, and Lily's mom is currently staying with her to help her through the issues. None of them were surprised, as Lily has been repeating to them that I'm only dating Mila to punish her, and she feels she has suffered enough for her mistakes in her past that I should take her back now as we are even. She has also said some scary stuff regarding Mila, and how Mila is stealing me from her and she is in a fight of her life. They also told me that she has been following every post Mila makes on social media using fake accounts. All of them tried to dissuade her from contacting me, but I guess the email was the final straw. I wish they would have told me sooner, but I can understand they wanted to protect Lily's privacy. I ask all my friends to please keep me informed if Lily said or planned something I need to know. I feel I was underreacting to the email, but now I am really worried about it. I talked to Mila, and we decided we should reply to Lily's email and calmly tell her to F off. We wrote her an email yesterday and put down our thoughts. I wrote to Lily that I understand that the news about Mila and me was difficult for her. I wrote that my decision to get married to Mila is important to me, and we are starting a new chapter in our lives. I have forgiven her for any issues that happened between us in the past, and I hope that she also remembers our time together fondly and moves on to better things in life. I told her that I hope she finds a lot of support in friends, family, and therapy, but we will take a break from conversation now, and it would be best for both of us to move forward and find our own paths of happiness. I also wrote that this is my last email to her and to not contact us again in the future. We are still worried about Lily, and hopefully the email tells her that I am not punishing her and just want to move on with my life. We are also worried if she might show up to the wedding, as BPD can be unpredictable, and have decided to hire security for the wedding. Currently, Mila seems to be in a good place after we wrote the letter together. I want Mila to understand that she is the most important person to me, and no letters from Lily can shake my feelings for her. I really don't know what the right thing was to do here is. It was not ideal for this to happen so close to the wedding date, but hopefully things calm down and Lily gets support she needs. Again, thanks for all the help from the community. I really appreciate it, and any further advice is also appreciated. This is probably not over if she has been saying those types of things to your friends. Definitely hire security at the wedding, making sure everyone has her picture. And I would add additional security measures at home as well. Lily sounds very unstable and will likely spiral further as the wedding approaches. I'm glad Mila is in a better place. It's always helpful when people communicate as adults. I hope it does not come to that, but I am going to take every precaution before and during the wedding day. I have a feeling that Lily will appear on a future episode of Snapped. Defend your spouse. Until she meets someone else, she will be obsessed with her and exist vicariously through Mila's posts. For her own protection, Mila ought to set all of her accounts to private. I doubt the drama with Lily is over, but I'm glad that you and Mila seem to have come together, and you've reassured her and made sure your focus is on your pending marriage and preserving your relationship. I also think the email to Lily was a smart move. Keep your eyes and ears open for further drama. If you haven't already, hire security for the wedding just in case. I was advised that replying to the email would be the right thing to do. I was told to be as calm and as precise as possible, to tell Lily that it is over and to not keep any hopes for the future. I was also told to tell her that I am not punishing her. I hope the email helps her get closure and move on with her life. Please understand, your ex has BPD, which is a personality disorder. This cannot be treated by medication, only years of intense therapy. It isn't going to disappear with a calm email. She will be convinced Mila made you write it. She isn't going to remember your time together fondly and move on. It's not possible for someone with BPD. I'm sorry, my friend. You need to take precautions. Last story. My husband went on a last date with his ex a week before we got married to make sure. His ex was always the one who got away according to everyone around him. He ended things because he didn't see a future with her, but everyone around him was shocked because she's so good and beautiful. Then we met and I soon understood that everyone from his side preferred her. I even heard some call me the Camilla, although I am neither much older nor less attractive, in my opinion. I love how I look, even if I don't tick all of the beauty boxes, like tall, blonde, blue eyes, etc. like his ex. He never gave me any reason to doubt him, however. He gave me the impression that he knew exactly what he wanted. Was secure enough in his heart that he told me he loved me a few months into our relationship, and I never felt like he was lying or that I wasn't enough. He is fully aware of what people think about him leaving his ex, and he gave the impression that he thought they were silly and childish. He told his mom that I am who he chose, and if she wanted a part of it, she needed to clean up her act. We got married 3 years ago, and only now I found out that he went on a date with his ex a few days before our wedding. He wanted to know for sure that she wasn't like everyone around him thought, the one who got away. He wanted to make 100% sure. His mom told me gleefully when she visited our new baby, and she looked at my daughter and said she wondered what would have happened if he changed his mind after that date. And she was visiting their baby now, my husband and the one who got away, with a sigh but gleefully, you know what I mean. I haven't spoken to him for a week, and I hate silent treatment, but I just can't talk to him. It isn't something I'm doing to punish him, or manipulate him, or get the upper hand and control him. I just can't look at him or talk to him. Am I the a-hole for this silent treatment? Edit. He was there when it happened. He told his mom to shut up. Then he admitted he went on the date and admitted the reason his mom told me was the truth. Now for the top comments. Your husband is an a-hole, but your mother-in-law loathes you. To think she held on to this information until you were happy with a new baby, totally vulnerable, and then decided to drop this. That is calculated evil. It sounded more like his spur of the moment at first, but maybe you're right. Not sure anymore. No, she sat on that for years. It didn't just pop into her head. She was waiting for the perfect moment. That's evil. Yep, and it had exactly the effect she intended it to. Drove a nice big wedge in your relationship, because now in your head, it becomes what else has your husband admitted telling you. Here's something to consider. Did his last checking to be sure he made the right choice date includes sex or no? Ask it and any other questions you need answered. If you don't trust yourself to talk to him about it, make a document with your questions and ask him to provide you with the true answers. Because here's my thought. His mommy knew he was on that date, and quite sure she talked to the ex afterwards. So if they had sex, mommy knows. If she's gonna drop that little bomb in the future, your husband needs to own it now. He also should answer if he's been in contact with her since you married. He owes you answers to any and all questions, because his actions caused the situation. If needed, OP, please find a good therapist to work through this with. As to your mother-in-law, I think it would be reasonable that she is no longer welcome in your home. If your husband wants to see her, he can go to her place. Oh, and she gets a nice long time out from having anything to do with your daughter with you determining the length. Because a woman that nasty can't be trusted to not say whatever she likes that hurts you by hurting your child. Did he also sleep with her just to make sure? Did he try having a kid with her too just to make sure? WTF? What kind of stupidity am I reading lately here? Your husband is the a-hole, and your mother-in-law is a close second. I can't believe he did that and he actually told people. He says he didn't sleep with her. Geez, that's big of him. I know, right? Do you believe him? I don't know. I asked him and he adamantly denied it, but he confessed everything else. I truly believe that if he did, his mother would have made sure I knew to get rid of me. So this is why I don't know. Her not rubbing it in my face is my truth.
Update. My 36 male family is upset I'm prioritizing my brother-in-law over my niece after my sister 27 female cheated. Original story. My sister married 27 female met her husband Tom 29 male when she was attending college out of state and he was stationed near her campus with the army. After he got out, she dropped out of school so they could move to our home state at her request, so we've been the only family he's had here. They have a 3-year-old daughter, Jane. Not long ago, a guy, call him Bill, reached out to Tom on Facebook and told him that he saw my sister has a 3-year-old kid and that there's a possibility my niece may be his child. He and my sister had been having an affair from the time they moved home, until shortly after she found out she was pregnant. He had to move away for work and my sister never mentioned pregnancy to him or that she was married. Tom confronted Mary and eventually she admitted to the affair. 2 paternity tests later, it was confirmed my niece is not Tom's child. He has been devastated. Bill wants to be in Jane's life, but my sister and family are staunchly against this. They say Jane already has a dad, Tom. Tom has been going to counseling since Biodad first reached out to him, and he just cannot see Jane the way he used to or be around her or talk about her without breaking down. He says it hurts too much, and he feels like his life has been based on a lie. Nor can you really imagine staying in her life with Bill around. Since they separated, I have been letting Tom stay at my place since he has no family here. My sister thinks I'm out of line letting Tom stay, and that I'm depriving my niece of her uncle. She doesn't want Jane here so long as I'm supporting Tom. Fair, I guess. And Tom has offered that he would go to friends or out if I wanted to babysit or spend time with my niece. Also fair. Personally, I sympathize with Tom. I'm not an affair baby, but my mother was pregnant with me when she met my sibling's father. He made a stipulation that it'd stick around, but my bio-dad and bio-family could not be around, and my mother agreed. He treated me differently once my sister and brothers were born, and even more so after he and my mother divorced. My paternal family reached out eventually, and I learned the truth and got to know them. This pissed off my adopted dad to no end, and his family as well. Said it was a slap in the face that I would even want to know my other family. They were my family, and it was ungrateful of me to forsake all of that. I don't want my niece to possibly go through that. Getting stuck between families is the worst. So I've been helping Tom find out more about Bill and mediating between them when they talk. Bill seems like a real stand-up guy with positive people around him and wants to take my sister to court for custody and brother-in-law as well to get taken off the birth certificate. I support both of them in these decisions and have offered to help if they need it. My sister is mad at me, but I have told her and our family that she should only be mad at herself. None of this would even be happening if she hadn't played eeny meeny miny mo with her kid's dad. My family thinks I'm prioritizing Tom and Bill over my own niece, that I should be shaming him for abandoning his daughter, and that I am turning my back on her. But I don't think I am. I also think that Tom deserves some kind of support through all of this. I could really use some outside perspective. Is this really a wrong stance for me to take? Or should I back off because my family's right about Tom needing to stick around and shun Bill? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Sorry, your sister needs to, figuratively, be set on fire. She is the reason this happened. Paternity fraud, cheating, lying, just scum. There are 3 victims here: Jane, Tom, and Bill. I understand Tom's position. I don't think I could raise another man's child. I honestly believe it would be my worst nightmare if my son wasn't mine. It doesn't matter what your family thinks. Bill is right, he is going to be involved, they need to deal with this. It seems everything he has done is honorable. Reaching out must have been hard. This has got to be awful for Jane. My heart breaks for her. Luckily, there are still a large number of people fighting to be involved. I think she's going to be okay. Fortunately, she is really young too. What a piece of work Mary is. I hope you are doing okay. You sound like a fantastic uncle. Especially as Opie has literally been in Jane's position. If anyone can understand and support her through this, it's clearly him. Stand firm, Opie. You're a good person. Keep standing tall. This whole situation is in your sister's head, but she's trying to blame you for supporting 2 of the 3 victims of her shenanigans. It sounds like you were the scapegoat of the family. You're not putting the 2 men above your knees. Your sister is weaponizing her. She's the one not allowing you to see her. Don't buy into their manipulative BS. Your sister could very easily set up times where you can visit your niece, go on an outing to the park, for example, etc. She's the one putting the kibosh on this. I find it admirable that you are ultimately benefiting your niece by clearing up her paternity situation and allowing her bio dad to claim his rights to her. I especially find it admirable that you are supporting your brother-in-law after the massive betrayal that he has endured via your sister's hand. Keep walking tall and don't lower yourself to your family's non-existent ethics. Your family is supporting the woman who cheated on her husband, had a baby with another man, and never told anyone. They don't get a say. I find it just disgusting that their argument is that you don't get to see your niece if Tom is living with you. They don't seem to have a problem with your niece not seeing Tom, the only dad she's known, or for Pete's sake her newly revealed bio dad. Your want to support Tom and mediate with Bill is admirable, Opie. You are a good person. It's such a leap in logic they're applying to. They won't let Opie see his niece because the child's not father is there, but they have unilaterally decided the not father is the father and therefore must take responsibility for her. While I understand guys who stay in kids' lives after a discovery like this is made, you can't blame them for walking away either. Niece is only 3 anyways, and the fact is that if he left now, she'd never even remember him. It's basically a screw you fall in line tactic my family is prone to using in people. I enjoy seeing my niece, but I'm not supporting my sister and joining my family in telling Tom to drop the divorce and reconcile. Instead, I'm saying nothing about what he should do regarding their marriage and supporting him in his decision to get off the birth certificate. I offered him a place to stay versus telling him to go home or to find some place else to stay until he can move. It's less about not letting Tom be around her and more about punishing me so long as I go against the grain. And now for the update. Firstly, thank you everyone for your comments, messages, insights, and support. It really helped me strengthen my resolve and find solace in what I was doing. I'll address a few concerns/questions that popped up before my mini update. Yes, Bill knows Jane is his. When Tom got his paternity test done, he and Bill had him go separately to be tested. Why am I letting Tom stay with me? Well, he was family for years. And for me, you don't just chuck family onto the streets except for extreme situations. Divorce takes a year in my state, and Tom is opting to stay to make sure it can all be handled quickly and smoothly to get it finalized as soon as possible. That said, he plans on moving back to his home state after that, so I'm letting him stay with me so he can save money for his move and moving expenses. Otherwise, the only places he could afford on his own require 6 and 12 months leases. Supporting Tom and Bill may result in my sister and I having little to no contact. True, it may. And that'll be our crosses to bear. But I can't find it in me to ignore others needing help just to satiate her and excuse her behavior. I still love my sister. Whatever my feelings or opinions of what she did or is doing have no place in this, nor it is really the time for me to go expressing them to her. Bill's lawyer says it's very likely Bill will wind up with a custody arrangement, and he has assured me that if things do go south with my sister, that she won't let me see my niece. I'd always be welcome to visit them to see her during his time with her. Now, for the update, it's not a huge one, but rather surprising. My sister is still being cranky and doubling down, doing all she can to guilt Tom into reconciling, and adamant about Bill not being involved because she has a husband that just needs to realize they can work through this. Tom is Jane's dad and Bill is not needed. So, meh there. Last week, I went on a fishing trip with both Tom and Bill for the three of us to just relax and forget all this nonsense for a bit. Once we got back, my mother showed up to try talking to me about why I'm doing any of this. Surprisingly, we had a decent talk after some heated tension. I wound up showing her the post, and while she wasn't happy I was airing our laundry, it helped a bit. Ultimately, I was able to get it through to her that given the circumstances and the high probability Bill is going to be a presence in Jane's life from here on out, the best thing for Jane would be if our family and Bill could at least coexist. I asked her how she would feel if her granddaughter was constantly having to choose who to spend time with for birthdays, graduation, prom pictures, etc., or God forbid, we all put her in a position that she would have to lie to everyone about what she wanted just to not hurt feelings. It took a while, but that seemed to at least get through to her a bit. She's still not happy about the whole situation, but she did agree to a dinner in a public place to meet Bill and some of his family, and I'm happy to say that that wound up going off really well, and Bill's mother had a good heart-to-heart with her. So, some progress. Thanks again everyone for the support. Opie, you truly are a stellar human being. If you are not a counselor or mediator, you should probably look into it as an alternative career. Just amazing how you brought everyone together. Hugs to you. Damn. So your sister lied to both of these men for years and now expects them and everyone else to bend to her will? It sounds like you, Tom, and Bill have Jane's best interests in mind more than your sister or parents do. Kudos to you for doing the right thing. Writers of cheap romances couldn't write a character with this level of entitlement even with 10 pens. Opie's sister messed up and has to face the music. I'm still surprised anyone is listening to your sister. She married Tom, cheated on him with Bill and became pregnant, unbeknownst to Bill, and then decided Tom was who she wanted to be the father. She doesn't get to decide that for Pete's sake. If I were Tom, I'd skedaddle too. And the fact that Bill contacted them to stand up and be a father speaks to his character. Maybe it will rub off on your sister. You are a great person, Opie. You actually seek harmony and what is best for Jane. She's lucky to have you. How is Jane doing in all of this? It must be hard when your dad disappears one day. Is she okay with it? Yeah. It's not just Bill and Tom who are hurt. Jane is a victim too. 3 people's lives have become emotional wrecks due to the actions of one person. I can't understand why paternity fraud isn't a crime. Now for the next story. X passed away, and I'm finding out we had a son together. Her family wants me to have custody. What should I do? We broke up way before I, 25 male, learned about this, and I'm still not sure what to think. Recently found out not only that she passed away, but we have a 7-month-old son. Her family was telling her before that I needed to know, but she kept putting it off. So now with what happened, they felt I needed to be told and take part in his life. Just to be sure, I asked for a paternity test and got the results now. It's definitely mine, so that's freaked me out more. This has made it so much more real. I really don't know what to do now. Every time I think about it, it all gets overwhelming. I feel like I'm gonna get an anxiety attack. Then sometimes I get so angry that she never told me because I absolutely had a right to know about this from the beginning and be there for my son. Now all of a sudden, I'm a single dad expecting to take care of a baby I didn't know existed less than a few weeks ago. Her mom says she can help out, but can't take him full time. Her sister's still in college. That's why they really need me and say my son needs me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I want to do the right thing, but I'm scared I'm gonna mess this up so bad. I don't want to mess this poor kid up, and I'm gonna be the only parent who knows. Tomorrow is the first time I'm supposed to meet him. So nervous and freaked out about everything going on. My parents say I'm gonna be a great dad, but I'm not sure about that, or how I'm gonna manage with a baby suddenly with me. I'm really looking for any advice on this. Please, can someone help me how to navigate everything going on? Now for the top advice. The fact that you're worried about messing up is a good, healthy, normal thing. I've been doing it for 20 years and still get that panic. Acceptance is the first key. Does Opie need to get custody? Can he just say no? Can he take on the uncle role if he wants? How does this work? I feel like everyone is saying good luck Opie. Like, what are his options? I am a female, so I guess I couldn't be in this position, but this all seems really unfair to Opie. And if he wants out, I feel that's his right. He can give up parental rights and put the baby up for adoption, but it doesn't even remotely sound like this is something he wants to do. I'll let you in on a secret. No one is ever ready to be a parent, even the ones that planned it out. And the other secret is once you start being a parent, you will be better at it than you thought you would. Take advantage of your support group, and it's natural to worry, but we'll be okay. When you are in that quiet moment, laying down with your son peacefully sleeping on your chest, you will understand it's all worth it. This is great. Also, the biggest indicator for you being a good parent is that you're scared crapless about messing up and being a bad one. The people who turn out to be terrible parents never cared if they were going to be good or bad ones. Opie being scared and seeing how huge a responsibility this is, literally a great indicator for him doing well. Some Swedish author had this to say about parenthood. Give your children love, 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 and more love, and the rest will follow. Just be there for your kid. Teach them, learn from them, read to them, even starting now. When they're old enough to talk, listen and hear what they have to say. This won't be easy, but you got this. Didn't know about the sub. Gonna be checking out, so thanks. This is all so crazy overwhelming. Last story is titled, My ex wanted me to spend Father's Day with her son. I used to date Laura for 3 years, and she had a 6-year-old boy, Timmy. Timmy and I were pretty close, but Laura and I weren't in love and decided to break things off. Timmy and I met occasionally afterwards because he insisted on it. 2 years later, I got married to the love of my life and we just had a son. Laura was really pissed because now her son was going to take a backseat to my own. I explained to her that her son should move on, but she insisted I still be in his life. It was my first Father's Day yesterday, and I spent it with my dad and son. It was 3 generations of family, and I almost teared up. That was until I found Timmy at my doorstep wishing me Happy Father's Day. I was shocked, and Laura had already driven off. I included Timmy in the festivities, but I was damn pissed. When Laura came to pick him up, I just sent him off. I'm thinking of bringing in Timmy one more time and telling him I'm not his dad or pretend dad, and I don't want to see him anymore. Would this be going too far? Well, Timmy is a kid. He obviously feels like you're a father figure in his life. You need to have a talk with Laura, who is enabling this. Laura's nuts. She is feeding Timmy lies which will eventually hurt him. If she does this again, let him in and report his mom for abandoning him on your doorstep. What if something happened after she left him and drove off? What if you weren't even home? She put him in a very dangerous situation, and I personally wouldn't let her off easy. Absolutely going too far. This is a child, a young boy who looks up to you as a father figure. Why willingly crush him? Any problems you have should be handled directly with your ex, his mother. Tell her you're sorry, but you're not his dad and don't have a father/son bond with him. You've moved on and have your own child and would appreciate if she left you alone. I feel sorry for that poor boy. I've told her again and again, but she's borderline crazy. If she keeps dropping the kid off on you after you've expressed all of this, it's time to tell her that if she does it again, you're going to report her for child abandonment or something. She can't force you into a relationship or even to be a babysitter. That's nuts. I may need a restraining order. My dad wants to manage my inheritance? Plus update. Original post. I am 18 female senior in high school. When I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with epilepsy, at which point my dad had an affair with a family friend. When confronted, my dad abandoned my mom and me, according to my grandma. We moved in with my grandparents. My mom went to college and became a teacher. I loved my family. My grandparents were always there for me. Eventually, I was able to find medicine to stop my seizures. My mom worked hard, I never went without anything. My medicine cost hundreds of dollars each month, and I know it was really hard for my mom alone to cover these expenses. Several times I tried to reach out to my dad. If he answered the phone, he would simply say I can't speak right now and hang up or not answer. Fast forward to now. Both my grandparents have passed away and my mom died in a car accident 3 months ago. I went through my mom's finances and my dad never paid for child support. Never even helped with any of my medical bills. Then out of the blue, my dad messaged me via Facebook and asked me to meet him for lunch. At lunch, he told me that he heard about my mom's death. He felt like since I was still in high school, he should help me manage the money and house left to me. He said it would also help rebuild our father-daughter relationship. He then asked me to add him to my bank account. I told him I needed time to think things through, and I would call him later. Part of me feels like he's just using me now for the money, but the other half feels like if I don't allow his help, he will never speak to me again. What do I do? Now for the top advice before the little update. Don't do it. Talk to an attorney, please. Don't end up like Britney Spears. This is the 1OP. Talk to an estate attorney. You could consider explaining your dad's situation to your attorney and get some feedback. Since your mom passed so recently and you're still grieving, you may want to consider asking your attorney about setting up a trust for yourself. If not a trust, some kind of account that accrues a good amount of interest and doesn't allow you to blow through your money faster than you'd like. I'm very sorry about your mom. Good luck, OP. Also, OP, not allowing him to help you would lead him to not speaking to you ever again. That means you already know that he's not actually back in your life to help. You also know that as soon as he gets what he wants from helping you, he'll be gone. It's better to have all your money and no dad than to let that dad take it all and you still won't have a dad. He clearly wants to rob you blind and leave you. I would not trust your dad to do so. Hopefully there is another family member or you can get yourself an attorney to assist you. OP, your dad sounds dangerously selfish and is only thinking of himself. Please go no contact with him, especially since you are in a vulnerable place right now. He hasn't been there for you your whole life. He is a shark. Please avoid him. Considering he's only contacting her now, it's 100% him thinking of himself. If he was genuine, he'd have contacted her before her mother's death. Contact after? He's hoping to take her money to fund his life. Absolutely do not let your dad near your inheritance. Actually, he owes you the child support he never paid. You can't sue him for all the back child support. He never helped your mom nor you in any way, so please do not trust him. He will rob you and you will end up with nothing. You need this money, so if you have anyone that you absolutely trust, go to them and talk to them about this. Add him to bank accounts? Hell no. Ask him where was child support for the past 18 years. Honestly, it's probably best just to keep him out of your life. You didn't need him before, and you don't need him now. And now for the little update. I talked to my dad tonight. I told him that I want him to be more involved by coming to my concerts and graduation the second semester. I also told him that I have a financial advisor and lawyer to help me with the inheritance. He flipped out. He screamed at me that I'm just like my mother and stormed out. My friend's parents asked me to stay a few days with them when they saw me crying. I politely declined and came home. I just don't feel like being around people. So my question now is, what do I say or do if my dad reaches out again? Tell him to buzz off, as he was just there to use you for the money. If he cared about you, he would have paid child support and helped with the medical bills. Also, he would have made time for you when you called. That is not a dad. He is just a sperm donor. Garbage has thrown it out on its own. Don't bring it back inside. He has already shown you who he is. Listen. That proves that it really was all about the money and not about a relationship with you. I know it really sucks to realize that. If this was me, I would make sure to block him everywhere so he can't contact me again. And if he somehow gets through, I would ignore, not respond, tell him to screw off, and hang up. I'm so sorry this happened to you. But know that your life is better without someone like that in it. You're going to be okay. Now for the last story. Update. Girlfriend thinks she's 80% the reason for my success, and got mad when I told her she's not. Original post. I have been dating my girlfriend for about 3.5 years now. I am 29 and she is 28. Overall, our relationship is great and we have a good dynamic. Today we hosted some family members because I got a huge promotion. While her mom was congratulating me, she said something along this line that she is 80% the reason for what I have achieved in life. To this, I just said, yeah, you wish. After this, she has been pretty mad at me that I don't appreciate her, which is not true. I do appreciate her and acknowledge her help, but 80% seems a bit too much to me. To be fair to me, it is me who has a double master's and an ACCA qualification. It is also me who has worked 85 hours a week for the last 4 to 5 years. To her, I'm trying to take away her sacrifices and just being an ungrateful douche. It's not like she stayed back and hurt her career for mine. She did also work towards hers but only got a bachelor's and has worked 35 to 40 hours a week for the duration of our relationship. I see this as a little red flag. Not enough to end the relationship, but I would like to get the credit where I deserve it. She says we can talk when I'm ready to acknowledge what she has done to me fairly, which to her is again 80%. How the heck should I deal with this? My mom thinks that I should just agree with her if that makes her happy, but I don't think that's fair to me. Any advice/opinion in my relationship? Edit. Looks like I need to add some info because this is being asked again and again. We don't live together. We had planned to move in together, but due to COVID, we couldn't. We did help each other financially, like loaning each other money, but it was for like 3 months at a time. I don't know why some people here think I'm trying to flex working 85 hours a week, but I'm not. It was info that I thought was essential to give context in the post. 85 hours is no flex, but I had to do it to turn my life around. Me saying above that she only has a bachelor is just in comparison for the sake of this post and to give context. I've not and ever crapped on her achievement and considered them inferior to mine, nor have I ever claimed 80% of what she has achieved. To be honest, if she wouldn't have quantified it, I would have no problem with it. Like, I myself say this that I couldn't have done it without her. But 80%? Now, come on. People also seem interested in why and how I work so much. Well, I have a job like every one of us does, which is 40 hours 6 days a week. And I was also trying to get my business started with my brother, in which I worked 40 to 45 hours 7 days a week. If you average this out, this is equal to 12.5 hours 7 days a week. All that being said, I couldn't leave one or the other. I needed my job to pay bills and have money, while I also wanted to get the business established so I could chill a little. Right now, I think I just have to keep this up for a couple more years to get everything where I want it. Edit 2. I did mention this in another comment. The things she has done for my POV and that I know she did are being emotionally there. She loaned me a significant amount of money once on short notice, which I paid back to her in 3 months. I have done the same for her. She also takes care of my dog once or twice every 2 months when I'm out of the city, and I'm grateful and thankful to her for these. My house chores, cooking, cleaning, and laundry situation is different than most. My neighbor has a catering business and I have worked out a plan with them for 3 meals a day. I also have a maid that comes 2 times a week so my place is in living condition and not a pile of trash. I do my own laundry like I should. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Y'all are absolutely crazy. First of all, they don't even live together, so it's reasonable to assume he's taking care of wherever he lives, mainly by himself. Second, she hasn't provided any financial support to him while he's been doing this, and all you people can concentrate on is how he's diminishing her achievements? She has literally, in front of her family, attempted to take 80% of the credit for his ridiculous amount of studying and work. Do you people want to talk about diminishing achievements? This sub is wild sometimes. SMH. Look man, I'm in the same boat as your partner. My girlfriend has almost finished the final part of her 4-year nursing degree, while working pretty much full-time throughout it. She goes to work, comes home, goes straight into the study for hours. Therefore, I cook our dinner, clean and tidy the house, make the bulk of the money and try to make her life easier any way I can. But I would never, ever attempt to tell anyone that I deserve any credit, let alone 80%. And I think I'm probably doing more for her than your girl is doing for you. That crap is wild, and the fact that she's pushing the issue is just another red flag. Do not do what your mom says and just agree with her to pacify her, as this could set the groundwork for a very unhealthy relationship. Sit her down, speak to her, maybe ask why she thinks she deserves 80% of the credit for the work you've done, and go from there. Anyone that thinks they are 80% responsible for someone else's success and says it out loud like that is a a-hole. Dude, I 100% break up a long-term relationship if my girlfriend said this stuff and did back down. It's just a wild argument that would have me question motivation, basic logic, intelligence, and the goal of the relationship. It's just freaking weird. I can't even come up with a comparison, and I've lived both sides. I got 2 masters while with my now ex-wife, and she was home with kids. And she got her PhD after that, and I took over the majority of child rearing and household duties. Neither of us would ever think that, let alone say that. Maybe like 5 to 10% of background noise reduction, 25% to make a point to family and friends or to get a laugh. 80% is right out. Absolutely. I would definitely be questioning the relationship. It's one thing for her to say it at all, but to not back down when questioned on it and to not be willing to discuss it until he agrees? It's freaking manipulative and childish at the very least. Very weird hill to die on for her. Like, how can you think your partner is only 20% responsible for the degree that he is studying? Like, I say that crap to my partner to rile her up, and she tells me to buzz off and laughs at me because it's a joke, and we both know that it's not true. I'd never believe it, and I certainly wouldn't jump up in front of her family and say it. Like, what? It's so weird that she specified a percentage. Yeah, Opie keeps going over the number like that is the real issue here. 80? 80? I might accept 17.67 or if pressed 20.2 at most, but not 80. But it sort of is the real issue. If she said, yeah, well, 10% of that success is because of me, this is probably a non-issue. Both because it may be true, emotional support counts for something, and even if not, it's not a big number. So it's being a pretty big percentage is literally the issue. Do you live together? Not right now. COVID really hurt our plans. Hopefully in a few months if things go back to normal. Dude, to end this argument once and for all, ask her to write down a list of everything that she has done that is the reason for your success. My guess is that she won't be able to. And if she does manage some sort of list, you should come back, in writing, why she's wrong. She's childish though in my opinion, and I wouldn't give her the time of day if this is what upsets her. And now for the update. Girlfriend and I talked about what happened and how we both could have refrained from saying what we said. After talking it out, the best option seemed to be just to take a break and be friends. Most people in my last post wanted me to sit her down and make her write her contributions, which honestly, no offense, sounded like a terrible idea. It was too confrontational, and I knew she couldn't have written anything meaningful anyway. Like, what was she supposed to write? That she got me Egg McMuffin the other day? I simply asked her what was going on and why she got so upset when I was dismissive, rightfully in my opinion, of her outrageous claims. She admitted 80% came out wrong, but she only doubled down on it because I handled the situation horribly. I do appreciate her being there, but her literal contribution to my life is close to none. Other than the $3,000 she lent to me once, which I paid her back 3 weeks later, I can't think of anything else. As for the emotional support, I 100% agree that was there and made things a little easier now and then. I still have a few more years to go before I have my business all sorted out so I can leave my job, but until then I'm sticking to my schedule. This break kinda also makes sense with the promotion. I got transferred to the head office. It will definitely increase the distance between us. Managing the business will be a little difficult, but my brother has agreed to manage all local activities fully, so that eases my burden a lot. My brother owned part of the business. This is not the way I imagined things to turn out, but here we are. She brought up to remain exclusive, even though we are on a break, which made little sense to me. As of now, there are no boundaries and we are just friends. We have worked out most of the stuff, and we'll iron out the remaining problems as friends and probably will date again if either of us didn't find anyone else. I also wanted to say to all the people that jumped on her, she isn't a bad person. We all say stupid stuff and do ridiculous things. It was just not her day. Glad things worked out for you, OP. I'm just puzzled by the decision to take a break. She brought up to remain exclusive, even though we are on a break, which made little sense to me. To me too. If you're no longer together and there's zero exclusivity, then why call it a break to begin with? I guess it's just not computing with me. I'm genuinely confused. Before I met my wife in 2005, I had multiple girls I dated who wanted us to not be together, needed a possible futurist to not be on the table, wanted me to move on, but then got mad at me when I started seeing other girls. Like, they wanted me to wait for them, but pretend I wasn't. It had to put my feelings completely on hold while I did. Indefinitely. Nah, girl, that ain't how this works. Taking a break seemed like the best option, to be honest, mostly because we still do have feelings for each other. It's just that we haven't been able to do stuff together and not put time into the relationship itself. I made it clear that we can't be exclusive since we aren't together. I think she was thinking more like getting space from each other without breaking up, while I considered it a breakup. Is she on the same page as you now? That you are broken up and not exclusive? In my opinion, if you are planning on getting back together with her, you should save the headache and remain exclusive for now. If you have no intentions of getting back together, then I see where you're coming from. Yes, we are on the same page. We are not exclusive, but I have no plans of sleeping with someone else, and I think she feels the same way. We are just not creating that boundary to avoid resentment if this break lasts a while, you know? Just break up. This break with no boundaries is actually a breakup, but you're keeping her as a backup plan. That's an awful thing to do. Stop leading her on and break up with her properly. You need to explicitly state you are broken up. Right now, it seems like you're keeping her as a backup and hoping for something better. You're leading her on even if you say otherwise. Being on a break implies that the break will have an end and you two will get together. You say you're on the same page, but unless you explicitly say this is a breakup, I don't plan on getting back together with you, she will keep waiting. I doubt that. I'd say she's about 80% over him by now. Update. Fiancé 35 male compared my 28 female antidepressants to cocaine and wants me off them. Original story. I have the loveliest, most charming, and attentive fiancé. We had a whirlwind romance for 9 months, in which she proposed over quarantine. He is everything I wanted a partner, and I love him deeply. But the last 3 months were rough for me. I had a car accident, started a small business, and had a family member pass away. My fiancé and I weren't getting along because I was stressed, crying, and had to enter serious therapy to deal with the effects of the accident. I was unhealthily dependent on my fiancé and would call him nightly just sobbing my eyes out. I started taking a low-dose antidepressant. Finally, I'm not fixated on the accident. I'm happy and go lucky. I'm back swimming again, my favorite activity, calling friends, and my business is doing well. I admit to have less time for my fiancé. I'm much less needy. Sometimes I can't get to my phone in time and miss his calls, when before I couldn't leave my room and needed to be connected 24/7. My fiancé sat me down and expressed his concerns. He told me he loves me but has noticed a change in personality. He said I spoke with a few doctors and antidepressants can even be compared to coke, and that I could be doing lasting damage to myself. He said, I can support you through all the pain and the messiness. I love you and I want you in my life forever. He said I should call my doctor and request to come off. I kind of balked, and he didn't take it well. He requested that I at least respond to his messages in a reasonable time, that he knows me well. This new personality isn't a real me, and I'm moving too much. I'm kind of concerned with other behavior from my fiancé. He wants me to wear baggier clothes to the gym, and wants to be involved in every decision I make. When it comes to meeting new clients, he wants to know who they are. Otherwise, he says it seems shady. I have a possible contract that would take me out of town, but he expressed concern, telling me I need to stay close to family. I love him, but every conversation turns into him telling me that I have to work harder so he can trust me. Besides counseling, what else can I do? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Do not come off medication. Do not give him access to your medication because he will tamper with it. I'm not joking. He is lying about speaking to a few psychiatrists and antidepressants being like coke. He wants you off them so that you are dependent on him again. This man wants to control you. That's what he's interested in. Why wouldn't he be happy that you're doing so well? Your whirlwind romance started with love bombing, but now he's panicking because you're happy and less dependent on him. Keep an eye on your medication at all times. He does not love you. He wants to control over you. I was a sobbing mess off of my medication. It wasn't stable. He's been testing me lately, and I'm not as reactive. I just don't understand why someone would want that. It doesn't make for a healthy relationship. It doesn't make for a healthy relationship. He doesn't want a healthy relationship. He started with love bombing and now it's on to control. This is also textbook mistreatment early warning signs. You might as well be writing a horror movie script. Red flags of coercive control here. He likes you dependent on him. I'm positive he did not find a few doctors who said antidepressants are like coke and can lead to brain damage. The statement would be laughable if he wasn't so obviously trying to control you. Lovely, charming, and attentive is how these types usually start out. It's called love bombing. Start being strong and independent, refusing to play his games, and see how long that lasts. Though proceed carefully because I've seen this turn ugly. There's actually a name for that tactic that some partners like this use to control the other partner's mental health, including their mental health medication. It's called mental health coercion. The National DV Hotline did a national survey on it a couple years ago, and many callers reported various forms of it. Partners hiding their medications, demanding they not use medication, impeding their access to therapy, gaslighting them, telling them they deserve to be mistreated because they had depression or anxiety, etc. Substance use coercion is similar. It is also a type of domestic mistreatment. Are you serious? I'm at a loss for words. My fiancé isn't at that point that he's hiding medication, but he told me he is extremely concerned and would advise me even if he was just my friend. He believes I need to face my problems and that he can help me work through them, as if he could be my coach. It's a very weird situation where he likes me being his little project. But the truth is, I'm doing a lot better. I have healed and grown. I guess it is a way to be controlling. Now for the first update. Many of you commented, advising me that this was an emotionally abusive relationship. I admit I am naive. I didn't want to believe that was the truth. I spent some time with my fiancé on the weekend, and he continued with his pep talk about the antidepressants. He said I should taper them off to 5 milligrams, and gave me a timeline for doing it. I had only been agreeing with him so we didn't have to argue, but secretly I continued with them on my own. After this weekend, we had a wonderful time. He tells me he has hope for our future, that he supports me going through the pain, etc., etc. On Monday, we were talking and I brought up a pretty big issue in our relationship. I won't go into specifics. He's at fault though. That isn't solved. My fiancé went ballistic. For the first time, he screamed at the top of his lungs with his face distorted and spit flying everywhere. He told me I didn't have a brain big enough to change, and that all I do is sit there and smile with my freaking medication, and that I'm a pitiful, almost 30-year-old woman who is pathetic. And if I want to see real trauma, he could show me. He said, "You're an evil person who is deliberately hurting the only person who loves you. And how dare you bring up these issues when you know I'm stressed?" Because I was stoic, he became even more enraged, until I had to pretend to cry. Yes, I had to pretend to cry because that's the only way he would calm down. I do feel guilty because he's stressed. He said, "If you believe I've overreacted, delete me. But if you want to listen with your heart and put everything on the line and be a ride or die team, I'll come to your place tomorrow." Suddenly he told me, "Something has come up, let's talk in a week." And he has completely disappeared / gone offline. Because he was screaming at me in front of family members, I think he may be committed to a psych ward? I don't know. I finally found the courage to just block him completely. It hurts like hell, but it's the only way. Now for more comments before the final update months later. Holy cow. You need to keep him blocked and do not get back into this relationship. It's only a matter of time before this becomes physical. I doubt that alone would get him committed to a psych ward. It's more likely he's on a bender or something. Him threatening Opie with showing her real trauma means that time was sooner rather than later. Opie, just know that the only person in your life that has a say in your medication is your doctor / medical professional. Your, hopefully, ex-fiancé is not a trained professional and therefore had no say in the matter. I do feel guilty because he's stressed. Don't feel guilty about anything in what you did or wrote. Plus, the controlling nature attitude towards your medication tells me you made a correct choice in blocking him. I'm terrified for Opie. If this situation escalates any further, she is going to end up hospitalized or worse. Please stay safe and keep this psychopath out of your life, Opie. I am beyond brainwashed. He calls me every day for 40 minutes to 1 hour to tell me everything what's wrong with me and needs to be changed. Over time, I've started to believe it. I've lost myself. I have to tell you, it is very unusual to conclude that because someone shouted, they have been committed to a psych ward. That is just a really dramatic notion. Why didn't the family members present intervene when he was screaming and spitting on you? It is not because of the screaming. It's because of his unusual / manic behavior that's become increasingly worse the 4 weeks. He is hearing and seeing things that aren't happening. He was telling me I was evil and that I had to wake up. There are many other things I didn't include in this. Sounds like bipolar psychosis, which is no joke. How absolutely ironic that he'd be screaming about you being evil, and stupid for treating depression while he's having a breakdown. You deserve to be in a healthy relationship with someone empathetic. Is not it? Let me tell you, it is absolute hell. Now for the second update months later. I wanted to take the time to thank all of the lovely commenters. It was hard to hear and understand at the time, but you really helped me see how messed up that situation was. Thank you for all the resources. which I had to read over and over in order to try to understand. My ex-fiancé and I are no longer together, and we have zero contact. We had a terrible breakup, in which he threatened to traumatize me. I spiraled into a pretty bad depression and continued with serious therapy. I took a 2-month trip abroad and entered a healing retreat that was out of cell service. I basically spent 7 weeks crying, vomiting, and healing in the jungle. The good news is that my anxiety has lessened, to the point that I no longer take any kind of medication. I lost 20 pounds. I bought a new apartment, started a new job, and, slowly, started dating someone new. I made a lot of new friends, and I'm actually allowed to see them now. My new guy is about 100 times better and has never tried to control me in any way. I have bumped into my ex-fiancé 4 times, and honestly, I kind of recoil at the sight of him. I have no idea how he was able to control my life so much at one point. That was a really dark place. It will take me a long time before I love anyone again, but that's okay. I'm giving myself a lot of time and space. Things aren't perfect and I'm still processing, but things turned out much better than I hoped for. So thanks again. Sometimes the best medication is removing toxic people from your life. I'm so glad you got out of that situation. Remember that your mental and physical health are always priority number 1, and I hope you have a good recovery in life. Thank goodness. I remember how scared I was reading your original post. Happy you've pulled yourself out of this. Thank you for the kind words. The thread validated me so much, and I am in a much better place. Now for the last story. Update. Boyfriend 28 wants me, 26 female, to turn down huge promotion. Original story. My boyfriend and I have been together about 18 months and moved in a month ago. Everything in our relationship is great, and we have discussed getting engaged in about 2 years. We both want to wait that long. I haven't been thrilled at my company lately, but I just got a promotion offered to be unexpectedly. It would be about a 35% raise and better job title, but it would involve regular traveling, at least a few days a week. This would be great for my career, but my boyfriend does not want me to take it. He says he's done a long-distance relationship before, and it sucked, and he has no interest in doing that again. This wouldn't be long distance, but about half the time I would be gone. He didn't go as far as to say he'd break up with me, but he said something to the effect of, "I love you, but I wouldn't stay in a situation that made me less happy." I am pretty stunned. I don't really know how to react to all this. He's never been anything but supportive of me in the past, and we've never even had a fight. He wants me to look for jobs elsewhere that don't require traveling. It would be hard to get one that would pay this much with a job title being offered at my age. I'm not sure how I feel about all this. The promotion would bring me from a little over 80,000 to 105,000. He makes 110,000. He thinks I could get similar/same pay at a different company without constant travel. He also thinks it'd be unfair to put all the pet care on him. Now for the top advice before reading the update. I am pretty stunned and don't really know how to react to all this. He's never been anything but supportive of me in the past, and we've never even had a fight. He shared a boundary. He communicated it in a very healthy way. The positive here is your partner has made his expectations clear and classified his needs. What you decide to do now is your decision. The appropriate response is to respect his boundary by not pleading or guilt-tripping him into being okay with you taking the promotion. I'm glad to see all the top comments are just dump his butt. He expressed his feelings and thoughts based on past experiences in a reasonable way. And while he didn't use breakup as threat to get what he wants, he's not a doormat and didn't promise he could stick around. All couched in concern for his girlfriend. First question. When a company that you're not happy working at offers you a promotion with a better pay and title, should you accept it? Second, I think your boyfriend has a clear expectation/boundary. If you guys can't find middle ground in this, it's going to be tough being together. That's part of his argument. I haven't been happy at my company for a while. He thinks getting in deeper by accepting the promotion would just be more stress and it wouldn't be worth the extra salary, but would only harm our relationship. I can't decide if this is just him expressing a boundary and fair or overstepping. Just to be clear, I'm reading you say that you're getting a promotion at a job you don't like and it will cause friction in your relationship. I understand where your boyfriend is coming from, and it is a good thing that he's communicating his boundaries. Being apart for days at a time is bound to put stress on the relationship regardless, so this is something you need to thoroughly consider. Do you think frequent travel is worth the raise? Do you think your boyfriend is being unreasonable with his boundaries? Is the relationship something you want to pursue further? Honestly, this is more up to personal judgment than anything else. The best advice I can give is to talk with your partner. He doesn't seem like he's unwilling to let you work at all. I'm reading that he just doesn't want to be apart frequently. Oh, he is absolutely not trying to stop me from working. He said many times he loves that I have a good career. So does he. And now for the update. Long story short, I declined a promotion. I wanted to work after my conversations with my boyfriend, and I had a talk with my current boss. I asked more about the role and why it was available. Basically, the last 2 people have quit due to the stress. And honestly, the more I learned about it, the less interested in it I was. They gave me until yesterday to decide. But after going home to my boyfriend to the house we just moved into together and hanging with my pets, I just realized things are going so good for my personal life right now. And adding a super stressful job that would harm the best relationship I ever had would be a mistake. Also, it really wouldn't be fair to put all the pet care on him. When I got the dog as my own and we agreed to get the cat together. Then my mom said that when my dad had a job like that, they almost broke up before they were married. I've always looked at their relationship like the gold standard, so to hear that was shocking. I also asked my friend with a similar work schedule, and she said she's looking for new jobs because despite making good money, she can never actually enjoy it since she's always on the road. She and her boyfriend at the time she started that job broke up, and she said the job had a lot to do with that. I don't want that for me. I know a lot of people say I shouldn't make decisions around a boyfriend, but I truly believe that he will be my husband and father of my kids one day, so I'm happy to have made this decision. I am starting to look for a new job, and I'm glad my boyfriend encouraged me to not get in deeper with my company, because I'm realizing that the only toxic relationship I have is with my employer, and the one I have with him is quite healthy. I appreciate the advice I received on my last post. The last 2 people have quit due to the stress. Even without your boyfriend, this would be enough for me to not take the job. In general, I agree not making career decisions for a relationship that is still fairly young, but it sounds like this probably would have been a nightmare anyway. If you're good at your job, there will likely be other opportunities for advancement. Yeah, my roommate's sister was offered a really good job. 6-figure salary plus other benefits. But once she joined, she heard that many prior to her left the job pretty early on. After a few days, the boss started making unwanted advances. Since it's an outsourcing company, HR complaints need to be made to a different country's branch. The complaint she made didn't go far, so she just left the job. There's apparently 0 retention for that position. Okay, this is a better reason than just boyfriend. If you were about your work-life balance, that is valid. I've got jobs over that. It's definitely the biggest reason, but yes, the others matter as well. Sweetheart, you might not read this, but I always give this advice to most people. Don't live to work, work so you can live. Do not make your job your life. Work enough so you can support your life. Your job should be just that, something you have to do. A job, not your life. I disagree. Find something you love and do it well. That is how you find true balance. Living your career as a separate part of yourself when you spend so much of your day and week devoted to it is a recipe to never have balance. Most people don't love to work. If you do, congrats. But most people do what they can to not live a crappy life. Sacrificing money for happiness is a very hard choice, but usually the right choice.